Hey everybody, welcome back to the Court of Random Opinion. My name is Lauren Neidigh. I came across something on Twitter today from an independent journalist named Elizabeth Lane. Elizabeth Lane says she used to work with and knows the Lively family, and she expects Blake Lively's accusations against Justin Baldoni to be another exploitation of the Me Too movement. Now, many, including myself, have questioned Lively's motives with her accusations because she wasn't exactly fully truthful when she made them. For example, she complained that he would come into her trailer while she was breastfeeding, but she conveniently leaves out the part where she invited him. Let's take a look at one of Elizabeth Lane's clips on this issue.
I'm actually much closer to it than most people. I know her sister. I know her sister's husband, Bart. I used to know Bart's family really well. We used to be friends. Bart is Blake's brother-in-law. And I spent enough time with this family to speak about personal relationships and who they really are, how Blake Lively is displayed today in the media as a diva and someone who just tried to steal this movie and so on. All of that is true. That's Lively family.
So it's interesting to hear her speak of Blake Lively from a personal standpoint, saying, yes, I know these people. This is exactly who she is. This is something that she would do. Of course, there are going to be a lot of people out there who are not going to want to hear that.
I really think that her motivation came from the sister. Like Robin. Robin was the star of the family, right? Back in the day. Now no one remembers Robin, but Blake always looked up to her and wanted to be famous as Robin and so on. But then she ended up
accused Baldoni of sexual harassment on the set of It Ends With Us, the movie. Whether or not it happened, we'll get into that. But the allegations were pretty serious.
What I noticed very early, hanging out with the family and brother-in-law, and I've noticed that they will do anything and everything to be famous. The family dynamics is Robin and Blake have an older sister, and they treat her like that, she's not existent or something. And I don't think that they are even upset about this. I don't think the older sister, Lori, is upset about it. I think that she just goes with it because that's a family thing.
So you won't catch me talking a lot about the family dynamics and all that stuff because there's some things that I just don't want to speculate on when it comes to hearsay on personal relationships, unless it's directly relevant to the case or something like that. I usually don't go there. Or maybe if the family relationship has something to do with demonstrating that person's aggressive behavior or something like that, then maybe I would, comment on those things. But just because I don't comment on these things doesn't mean I don't listen. It doesn't mean I don't believe it. In fact, I would say that I definitely do in this case. But hearing it from this journalist, Elizabeth Lane, who has actual connections to that family, I think it adds a layer of credibility to it to me. And I find what she's saying very interesting in the context of what happened recently, where Blake Lively used her mother's experience as a survivor of some undisclosed incident, which many are speculating was actually an attempted murder by a female coworker. I can't verify that. I'm not sure, but it was very vague what she said. And she, wrapped in Jazelle Pelico's name with that to try to make it sound like she was, somehow similar to Jazelle Pelico as an actual victim of heinous sex crimes. I don't know. Taking Elizabeth Lane's statements here, it just sounds like that is exactly something the family would do. Allow her to stand up there and say things about her mother just to try to save face or to make herself look better in the press or to try to somehow get people to implicitly associate her with Jazelle Pelico, who is actually a victim of horrible crimes.
It surprised me when I was reading it. I thought, because I had no idea about this case until we started looking into it. I thought it would be worse. When they said sexual harassment, I was expecting he touched her or something worse.
I think Hollywood makes it seem not serious, and this is sad.
Yeah.
And as we're listening to them talk about this, remember that Blake did kind of go there and say that Justin touched her inappropriately when she, said he was adding kisses that weren't scripted and lingering, basically, and stuff like that. However, actual footage has shown that she, in fact, was the one who bit his lip, even though she accused him of doing the very same, and that he was, in fact, only doing what he was supposed to do during his romantic scenes, as playing the love interest. And when cut is called, you see him go back into director mode. But I agree with what she's saying, where it's it sounds like it would have been something terrible, because she calls it sexual harassment when she has invited these men into her space. And then she's like, oh, you made eye contact with me while I was, getting my makeup done and I didn't have my top on. But you asked them to come in there and meet with you. So this is a small clip from Beyond the Matrix Season 2. I haven't watched the full episode yet. I've only seen this clip. I'll put a link to this in the description of this video below. She also has some other clips on Instagram, and I'll link to her Instagram account as well. I don't know how I didn't see these until today. In this particular clip, she's talking about how Blake is very insecure, but I don't want to just like play all this woman's content and take away from, you know, her doing her work here, because she is the one who knows these people and this is her kind of experience with them and her impressions of that experience. So like I said, I'll link to it below in the description and in the comments as well, so you guys can go check it out and hear it from her herself. I just wanted to kind of play that one clip for you guys because I thought it was relevant to some of the stuff we've been seeing recently. And I think that this is going to be an interesting perspective. All right, guys, let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. I appreciate a fresh perspective. I know a lot of you have probably followed this journalist already. I just somehow had not seen her yet. So luckily now I have. I'll keep an eye out for more news, and I will see you guys soon.